For more, I'm joined now by Steven Szabo from the German Marshall Fund of the United States. So, Steven, Hungary is blaming Germany for all this chaos. Is that fair?
A little bit, yes, because the EU had this Dublin rule where the country that has the people coming in has to take the asylum. And in this case, the Germans have waived that, and they said that if you come into a country, you can still progress into Germany. So that has confused things because the Hungarians thought they could just send these people up to Germany and still not violate the rule. And now the Germans changed that overnight, and Hungarians are a little bit confused right now by that.
But the Germans are being pretty generous, aren't they, and saying they will take a lot of refugees, but they want other European countries to take a quota. Any chance of that?
Well, I think that's a good point. The Germans have been very generous. They've taken about 800,000 this year be coming into Germany, which is 1% of the German population. It's costing them a lot of money for support. I think the Germans are going to push this very hard, and I think if the rest of the EU doesn't go along with some kind of quota policy, the Germans may close their borders, or at least put on pretty severe restrictions. So I do think the Germans will get the attention of the rest of the EU.
Now, is Europe really taking this crisis seriously enough? European ministers are due to meet 2 weeks from now.
No, and they should be, because the only real solution to this problem is a European solution. It can't be solved on the national level. The Germans can't solve it, the Hungarians can't solve it. So it has to be a European Commission solution, and I think it's really irresponsible that they're taking this long to come to some kind of action.
The whole European Union is based on the principle of freedom across movement of borders. Is that imperiled by this crisis?
It's irony that the Hungarian-Austrian border was the one that opened up, that began the end of the Cold War, and now it's been closed. So I think you're looking at the future of Europe. If Europe reinstates borders, you're going to have a very different kind of Europe.
Why is it the Germans are being so generous towards the refugees? Is it their own post-war history? Is it their affluence?
I think it's their own post-war history and the fact that they don't want to ever be seen again as sort of closing people off and persecuting people. I think they want to be generous. It also helps them a little bit in terms of the economy, but I really do think they want to atone for what they did during the Third Reich.
Has the situation, though, become very muddled because there are economic migrants as well as genuine refugees trying to cross Europe in search of a better life?
Absolutely, and that's the first problem. How do you differentiate between economic refugees and asylum seekers? And this is part of the problem that the EU is going to have to decide. How do we separate them out? How do we define them? It's going to be a very difficult, very complicated. It also involves stability in Middle East, in Syria, in Libya. It's a huge set of problems, but only the EU can take this on.
Steven Szabo, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.